Hello, Think Natalia Tribe. Today, I have the honor of interviewing a very interesting and super fascinating person. His name is Heimo Grasser, and his title, or what he does, is he is a corporate security expert. He's an awareness strategist, a travel security advocate, and a human behavioral hacker. Heimo and I, we worked together on his personal brand for, I think, 3-4 months, and we ended this fascinating and fun journey, I think in January earlier this year. But before I continue talking that much, Heimo, who are you and what do you do?
Well, hi Natalia, and hi everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, to talk to your community and share a little bit about, my story. As you said at the beginning, I'm a corporate security expert, awareness strategist, travel security advocate, and human behavior hacker. Just want to read all of this. It's such a broad description. Well, I come from a security background. I'm Austrian, so it was really great, to connect with a fellow German speaker here in Dubai. I was in the military for 10.5 years, and then at some point decided that I want to transition into the corporate environment, and corporate security seemed the natural choice. And then went to university, studied risk management, corporate security, found myself somehow magically a job in Dubai for International Theft and Control, one of the world's largest travel security and risk management consultancy companies at that time. And after 2.5 years with them, moved to Medtronic. It's a medical technology company where I still had physical security in Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Great, fantastic company. And over the past 3.5 years, I've first, as a hobby, then, as a business, also started getting more and more into the topic of, security awareness and, more specifically physical security awareness. And now I have been working for about, 3.5 years on my own company. It's called Same Solutions, where I now basically split the time between my job with Medtronic and the business, and that's what we started working on together as well.
That's awesome. I mean, it's fascinating and great to see that there are companies out there who allow you to work with them and to work on your own baby or on your side hustle or however you want to call that. Mm-hmm. So this is what I would like to point out, because a lot of individuals believe that you cannot work on two aspects next to each other. I know it's possible, and you are the living proof. And the way how you focus and how you work and how you get stuff done is just, for me, it was also great to observe and also to learn and to reflect if I can do the same. So good for you, amazing. I learned a lot from observing the way how you get things done, how you delegate, how you build a team, and the growth curve that you went through over the last 2-3 years, as you said, was like amazing. I'm not sure if everybody still understands what Same Solutions does. So explain it in, let's say, in a simpler way, as if I would be 5 years old. What does security training mean? So what is it specifically?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, before, go into this, I think, just want to point out that I really appreciate the opportunity that someone, very wise gentleman, told me, that to make and it's, I think we're now in a time where the norms and, what is common understood that 4 years, or we approach 5 years, or approach these, borders, these, areas have become anymore. And as long as you appreciate, what your responsibilities are, and as long as you appreciate, yes, you have a day job, you have a job, that you're obviously 100% dedicated to make sure that you deliver and constantly over-deliver. There's ways and opportunities to still keep everyone happy and take, additional time that you have in your life and, free that time up to then, work on your business, and then, find a way to make sure you keep, both sides happy. And what has really worked for me in that particular, and it was a little bit, controversial, I think, around that, and especially when we also talk about, the work to put myself out there now on LinkedIn. How do I create now a personal brand where, hey, on the one hand, I'm this corporate security expert, that looks after, this large multinational and, in the region, but then on the other hand, I'm also this entrepreneur and, that's built this amazing product and now this, great company and now this amazing team. And how do I position this, all together? I know, your support was really, really, really helpful in that aspect. Yeah, same solution for security awareness made easy. And in the most simplest terms, if so to speak, we produce security awareness training or e-learnings that aren't boring. Like, unfortunately, most of the stuff that is out there. And we, really try to focus on, making, bringing security advice to life. We do a lot of video work, helping travelers to understand what the risks are, whenever they travel, across the globe, and what they can do to mitigate those risks. And then, with the use of videos, we try to bring advice, as I said, to life and help people understand how it looks and feels whenever, before they travel, to a certain location. So we, send videographers around the world. We've just had people filming in Mexico. We have someone filming at the moment in Brazil and Colombia. And we did some work here, and then we turned this into e-learning model, quite well perceived. So yeah, it's a natural extension of what I do in my day job, or in my job with Medtronic, where I also look after physical security. But there, the training aspect is not dealt with by myself. So it's something that, it was an opportunity to build upon the experience and build upon my passions around, filming and creating something that looks awesome and looks, amazing. And same solutions came out of that.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So you said, or you hinted a little bit at it, that one of your biggest challenge was figuring out how on earth do I build that brand, which is literally a split between being an entrepreneur, somebody who's going to follow a new path while still being in corporate. For you, it was a little bit easier, maybe because you're still somewhat in the same industry. Was that the biggest challenge, or why did you initially approach me?
Well, it was really a difficult challenge, and I think it was a stepped approach, and it was something that really, how should I say that? Thinking on my feet a little bit here, that had to go hand in hand with me maturing along the same journey as well. And because it's always, when you think about this, I'm in a relationship where I am my own client, so to speak, or I am all my peers and everything else. But on the other hand, I'm also, a service provider. It's a really, it's a really difficult position. So where do I draw the line, around that, and how do I make sure that I don't, how should I say that, don't still remain ethical on all the different aspects by creating my own story. And for people, it's very easy. We like putting people into buckets. There's a bucket, for a security manager, and there's a bucket for an entrepreneur, consultant, service provider, but there's no bucket that crosses a box, amongst the two. So it was a little bit, how can I find a way now to create my own path, to create my own journey? And it was a challenge at the beginning, because I was like, okay, hey, if I now start pushing my content on LinkedIn, how is that going to be perceived on both sides? How do people that don't know me, that don't know, the background or, the reputation that I've built with my network here, but, out there somewhere in the world, how are they going to perceive me as a, security manager / consultant / service provider? And it was really, a challenge, for me. And I was a little bit, afraid of that in the first place. And I didn't do any LinkedIn work. I think, we're talking about this many times before. My attempt on LinkedIn was about maybe, sharing one article that no one really cared about
Exactly.
I think, okay, it's not for me. And I was just, one of the same people, like, scrolling through this, maybe, giving someone a like, and that's pretty much it. But then, thanks to you, really opened my eyes that, like, you know what, you can put yourself out there. And as long as you are transparent about what you do, as long as you understand what's the brand, what's the brand image that you want to create, and then just follow through with actions on that and push out, valuable content, comment, engage with others. It's just gonna, all the worries that I had about being misperceived, anything else, weren't founded in anything substantial. It's just, my own that I should say that barriers or obstacles or was the own limitations that I put on myself. And now when I look at my LinkedIn profile, and it's almost like realize, you know what, I'm just gonna put out there, here's the brand that I want to create. I'm someone who splits the time between this job and that project. And that's the first line on my LinkedIn profile, to make it, just as transparent as I can make it. And that's just how, push also, and how I think about my content. I try to, keep things separate, but appreciate that it's not possible. I'm my own brand. I'm my own new me. That's the path that I've created for myself. And now I'm just 100% like, hey, listen, I'm a part-time security manager, and I might be the only one that you're ever gonna meet. And I'm also an entrepreneur, and I have an amazing team on both sides of the fence. I have an amazing team in Medtronic. I have an amazing team in Same Solutions. And here's what I'm trying to achieve. Here's, my personal mission. Here's the vision that we are, I'm trying to pursue. And yeah, it's been a fantastic and amazing journey.
Awesome. Thank you for being once again, thank you for being so transparent about that. And especially the piece that you shared about what will other people say? What will my employer say? Will anybody jump in and comment in a rude way? As you said, none of that really happened, right? From the way how I perceive your content, I stalked you a little bit and had a look at it. I mean, the views that you get, the engagement that you get below your posts, quite impressive. And you also, what you did very well is that you really focused on connecting with people in your niche. So you might not have a ridiculously huge amount of followers, but what you have is a really relevant network of like-minded individuals that, with whom you're starting high-quality conversations, who turn into who visit your webpage and who start to have conversations with you. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, 100%. And I think it's always the numbers of views or numbers of engagement that you get, underneath your post, underneath the content that you push out there. It's a misleading indicator. It all depends, whom do you want to serve, and, what's the minimal viable audience, that you can serve, as Seth Godin always, says. It's not about, how big, your audience is, but, how relevant is what you do, to your audience. And again, and for me, this is it's, and I have to think again, like, who are the audiences on both sides of the fence? To me, there's audiences, to begin with, on my corporate security expert side, obviously all my peers and my network and everything, everyone else around there. So there's a lot of work that I'm doing there. But then obviously there's, the Same Solutions aspect, and I really enjoy that part as well. So finding out a balance between those two is important part of that journey. And funny enough, not a single person, to your comment at the beginning, is like has ever gotten back to me over the last half a year since I've really started pushing that. It's like, hey, Heimo, what you're doing, it's not good. It's not good for work. It's not good for, Same Solution. It just doesn't work. Not a single person has come back to say, hey, your content, sucks or whatever else. I've just had encouraging feedback everywhere. At work, from Same Solutions, from, potential prospects and potential, clients. And that's just, super, super rewarding. And, on the business side, we talked about this briefly. I would say that about, 50% of the interest that we currently have on same solution side is driven by LinkedIn. So it's a massive, massive opportunity. The reach that you're getting, out of that we're getting out of there is really, really fantastic. Obviously, it's a combination of everything. People see you, in different locations. It's just an easy way for people to, connect with you, connect with your content, connect with, your mission or, what you're trying to achieve. LinkedIn is a very easy way of connecting people around that, but it has proven an invaluable tool or asset to us and our business success, for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot for that. What was one of the biggest milestones or hurdles? Was it posting more often? Was it connecting with people? Was it your first video? Was it anything else? Is there a funny anecdote or story that you could share?
Oh, well, it's always the first post, I think, is the biggest milestone for everyone. Putting something out there. It's like, are people going to come back and bite off my head? And, all the insecurities that we all have around that. And, finding, what is the first post? And, I made a very simple one. I was like, okay, hey, what is the easiest thing, what's the safest bet that I could, put out there? And I still remember that it was a picture that I posted about the security awareness giveaway that we had at Medtronic. And I just asked, people, I was like, hey, here's, this worked, really well, the webcam cameras. Here's what has worked really well for us. What are, other things that, have worked for you? And it's just, the fact that under these comments, people just had a normal conversation. So it's actually not that bad. It's very, encouraging and to see that, you just take a thought that you have had all along anyway. It's like, everyone is worried about, how can you do better? How can you create better, or how can you find better awareness giveaways or, address, certain problems? And then you just put it out there, and the collective wisdom that came back was just fantastic, to see. And the wisdom of the crowd, maybe, I think that's a good one. So that was definitely a big milestone. The first post, and then it's the first video that they put out there, and then it was the next big milestone was like I did write an article around the 3 controversial lessons I've learned while building a business part-time, which was about clearing up this whole brand question, and that's something that I've worked on for at least a month, I would say, because it's getting all those nuances you have. Not, you don't work on it for a month, but you write a draft, you let it sit, and then you put it out there, and then you review it, you try to make it, look, decent. Because it's again, it's being vulnerable. It's putting stuff out there that you technically don't talk to people about, and showing people another way, showing people another path that may or may not work for them. And that was a big one. Then after I would say 3 months or so, taking the step from just put a little bit of content out there to really putting yourself out there. And then it's just about the next the other milestones were really just hitting your first video that had 21,000 views. That was completely something that we just put randomly together. It's like, oh, let's just put something out there, and it was just so well received. And appreciating the fact that you obviously can't plan for that. And but the funny thing around there was the appreciation that it doesn't have to be perfect for it to be good.
Yes.
And yes. And it's so, and I have this tendency, I have this perfectionist tendency. It's like, okay, I want to tweak stuff until the logo should sit here, it's perfectly and everything else. In the end, half the people don't even care. It's just put stuff out there, post it, get the feedback, and learn from it. It does well, great, fantastic. It doesn't do well, you learn from it and you adjust and you do it better next time. So I think those were the biggest milestones. The first post, the first video, the first blog article, being a little bit more vulnerable, and the appreciation finally that it doesn't have to be perfect for it to be valuable.
Absolutely. A huge insight, and especially when you come from a background or when some of your core values are really making things fantastic and always giving 100%. But social media work, or especially when you want to create a lot of content, that's not how you grow. I mean, I learned it recently. I think it was Dan Locke who said you either have control or you grow, and creating content, becoming better is growth. So sometimes it will be 80%, sometimes 85, sometimes 70. As long as you get it out there and it adds value, get it out there. I'm absolutely with you. So that's fascinating. And not only that, as you said, you also today work internationally. So you have project requests, respectively, you're filming internationally. You also delivered keynotes. You're more visible on LinkedIn. You're generating leads. I mean, watching your journey over the last month was like watching a movie. So thank you so much for putting in the energy and for growing and being so amazing. One last question that might be interesting for for everybody who's watching this and who's interested in, like, what is this personal branding and who's that Natalia? What is one piece of information or something about me that people usually do not see online, but something that is worth mentioning? You know, who is this Think Natalia?
What's one thing that people don't see online? I mean, taking a step back, I'm the one thing that I still need to learn is like use shorter sentences and be, more straight to the point. But, taking a big arch, the way we connected first is I looked at your online course and same with everyone else. Online courses are great and fantastic and it really, it's all the value, all the important information is out there. But are we disciplined enough to really follow through on all the action items and everything else? And what I really appreciate working with you, when we first to meet you face to face and, really, connect with you, really, get the nuances in between, the lessons learned and the exercises that we did and everything else. I really appreciated it. And I wouldn't have done, my journey wouldn't have been started if I hadn't connected with you. So it was, time, money investment that paid off like 1 trillion times. I can't overstate that. And I've forced, some of my employees and everyone else to now, look into, or my team members to look into, personal branding. So I really, started seeing the value in that. And what I really appreciated, was your positive attitude. And everyone can see that, online. That's part of your brand as well. But really the way you pushed me, to do stuff that I wasn't comfortable with doing in the first place. Because it's one thing I've been telling you, like, hey, here's what you should be doing. But you all know that we should be doing it. But sometimes you need a kick in the butt, by someone to say like, hey, listen, you just post this now. Nothing, nothing bad is going to ever come out of that. And you're just going to be fine. And, the reassurance in between, that really, really helped. So in terms of, and what I really appreciated, along those journey was like the support over and over again. Because there's lots of milestones. For me, we started talking, I can't remember, last year, maybe, September, October at some point. And we worked, very closely, but there was, the ongoing mentorship, if so to speak, or the small interactions over and over again that really helped me stay on the path. Because it's like, about constantly doing, not forgetting that, hey, listen, yeah, it has worked once, twice, but I still need to put in the effort. I still need to show up. I need to show up every day. I need to put in the effort, I need to push out the content, I need to engage with everyone else, because otherwise it's just going to fade away. And that's what made it invaluable to me in the whole engagement with you, which is you really wanting me to succeed above and beyond just a normal, consultant client relationship. And that really came out throughout the whole almost 10, 11 months that we have been in touch now. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And as I said, there was so much that I could also learn from you. One of the things that I always that I always remember is that we were talking about which books we read right now, and this one is worth it,
Oh,
this one isn't worth it. So, I read that one. What do you think about that one? And whom are you following? Which marketing guru out there? Which sales guru? So for me, it was, again, a fascinating journey. It was an honor. It was a pleasure to work with you. And I can't wait where your personal brand is going to grow into. And I look forward to staying in touch as a friend, as a human being.
Thanks. Yeah, I can, absolutely, I can only echo what you just said. I really appreciate, the going back and forth and the learning and growing together. And I'm immensely grateful for having you found on LinkedIn, first place, having you followed, having gotten interested in the whole topic, and then putting down the guts of just giving you a ring and say like, hey, can we work together? And then putting in the energy. And I can only recommend this to people that are anywhere on their own journey, working on your personal brand, being mindful of what the brand is that you want to create, and getting some help along the way, getting some guidance along the way will always pay off. It always will. So I really appreciate the journey together.
All right. Once again, thanks a lot, Heimo. And for you who is watching right now, if you would also like to have some guidance when it comes to building your personal brand on LinkedIn, simply apply for a strategy call. What do you need to do? Go to coachingwithnatalia.com. You're going to find a video up there. Check out the video. If you like what you see, well, then fill out the application form. And what's going to happen next is that one of my team members will get back to you, and hopefully you and I will be sitting and having that strategy call very soon. And during that call, we're going to have a look at your challenges of your personal brand. We're going to talk about the results that you want, and together we're going to build a roadmap to get you from where you are right now into where you want to be. Sounds good? So once again, coachingwithnatalia.com. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day and talk very soon.